Heroes Have Fallen is a strategic card game where your goal is to become the ultimate villain. Each player uses a deck of 26 cards to upgrade your villain's capabilities and assemble a team of loyal minions. You'll use these cards to defeat other villains and gain control of bases. However, watch out for opposing villains who will try to sabotage you and heroes who want to bring you to justice. There are 3 ways to win the game. Firstly, by defeating your opponent's villain, i.e. by reducing their health to 0. The second way to win is by controlling the majority of bases. You need to control over 4 of the bases to win. Note, this isn't all the bases within the game. Thirdly, you can win by deck depletion. On the very rare chance a player hasn't won via the first 2 methods, if all players run out of cards in their deck, the game is over. To determine the winner, add the remaining health of your villain to the original health rating of bases you have captured. The winner is the player with the highest total. Just a quick note on deck depletion: if players are eliminated in a 3 to 4 player game, they do not factor into this rule. Before I go through the individual cards in detail, let's start with the general card anatomy. On a card, you have the card identification in the top left-hand corner. In this instance, V for villain. You have the starting health in the top right-hand corner on some cards, and the card name in the middle. You'll see various attributes, abilities, or actions in the middle of the card, a brief bio about the card, and finally in the bottom left, the set and card number. Some cards have FA there as well, which indicates a full art card. In your 26 card deck, it consists of 1 villain card, up to 10 minion cards maximum, but you can have less, and then the rest are upgrade and trick cards. Note, you can only have 2 copies of the same card in your deck, and this includes any full art versions. Let's start with the villain card, which you'll build your deck around, so make sure you choose carefully. They have a V in the top left, and their starting health is in the top right. You'll see various attributes across the card. So the A symbol means your attack rating, which is basically used to battle other opponents' villains, their minions, as well as heroes, and to attack bases as well. The M symbol is your movement rating, and is basically how many spaces you can move on the movement map, which I'll talk about later in components. The I symbol is your influence rating and tells you how many influence tokens, the game's currency, you can gain each round. It serves multiple purposes. It basically allows you to utilize your villain's ability, purchase influence cards, and use minions against heroes. The E symbol is your evasion score, and it tells you how many spaces to move the roaming hero on the movement map. Most villains also possess a unique ability which has an influence token cost to activate. Abilities are turn-based, so you pay the influence token cost each turn you wish to use an ability, unless the card states otherwise. Minion cards give you much needed protection for your villain. They have an M in the top left and their starting health in the top right. You'll notice the P symbol, which means power, and this can only be used to boost your villain's attack when facing hero cards only. For example, if your villain's attack rating is 3 and your minion's power rating is ×3, then the full attack would be 9 against the hero. Written on the card is the influence token cost to use this power boost. Some minions can only be used by certain villains, as written on the card, and you cannot have duplicates of the same minion in play at the same time. Upgrade cards boost your health, attack, and movement and are marked with a U in the top left-hand corner. Some upgrade cards can be sold to buy influence tokens. You can see how much the card is worth by looking at the number by the I symbol. Upgrades possess unique capabilities written on the card. Where an upgrade boosts an attack or movement, you should apply this at the end of the calculations. In other words, complete the attack or movement calculation as it did not have the boost from the upgrade, and then add the boost to your final attack or movement score for this turn. For example, if your villain attack is 4, you roll a 2 on the dice, and an upgrade adds 3 attack, you would first do 4 times 2, and then add the 3 on afterwards. Some upgrade cards can only be used by certain villains, as written on the card, and you cannot have 2 of the same upgrade in active play. Additionally, you'll notice some cards that say one shot, which means they can only be used once. Once used, discard the card. These discarded cards cannot be sold for influence tokens. The final card within your deck are trick cards, which allow you to complete special actions. Trick cards are marked with a T in the top left, and you can only use one trick card per turn, and once used it must be discarded afterwards. We've just gone through cards in your 26 card deck, but now we are going to talk about cards that sit outside a player's deck but can still impact the game. These cards don't belong to a single player but can be picked up and utilised by anyone throughout the game. Starting with influence cards. To purchase and use these cards you need influence tokens. Influence tokens can be acquired in several ways as mentioned earlier, either through your villain's influence rating each turn, by selling upgrades, and also defeating heroes. Influence cards have an eye in the top left, and the cost to obtain this card will be written on the card. You can only purchase one influence card per turn, and you can choose to play this card in the same turn or hold it for a later turn. Note, if you're holding multiple influence cards, you can only play one per turn. The maximum you can hold at a time is 2. Once used, discard the card by placing it at the bottom of the influence card deck. Certain cards have abilities which are countered by another card, which are identified on the card itself. Both cards must be included in the influence card deck to play. Hero cards challenge your villain to a battle. Hero cards have a H in the top left and their starting health is displayed in the top right. To defeat a hero, you must deplete all their health. Written on the card are details of what the hero does to the villain and any minions in play during a battle. I'll go through how they battle your villain later on. The base cards represent different bases on the movement map. Base cards have a B in the top left and their starting health is displayed in the top right. To take control of a base, you must deplete all its health. Written on the card is its base number, so you can match it with the base number on the movement map. Finally, layout cards, which are only used for setting up the game and to provide opportunities for game variations. They are marked with an L in the top left-hand corner. They basically indicate how to set up the villain pieces, the base pieces, and the roaming hero piece on your movement map. With cards that sit outside your deck that I've just gone through, the players should decide amongst themselves who will supply these. One player could supply them all, for example, or you can sort of mix and match your hero cards and your influence cards between players. As well as cards, this game also uses components to play, starting with the dice, which introduces an element of chance to the game. The dice sides include numbers 2 to 5. Remember your villain card from earlier? You can choose to multiply either your attack or movement rating by the figure you roll on the dice during your turn. The H symbol refers to the hero. This means that you have to battle with a hero drawn from the top of the hero card deck if you land on this symbol on your current turn. Finally, the RH symbol refers to the roaming hero. This allows you to move the roaming hero piece a number of spaces equal to your villain's evasion score. Note, if you're using a regular dice, like in the 2-player quick play kit, number 1 is the roaming hero and number 6 is the hero. Let's talk about the pieces now. These pieces are the play pieces which are placed on the movement map. These include a villain. Each player has one villain piece to move towards and capture bases or evade the roaming hero. The roaming hero piece. One piece which players can move to evade or battle their opponent. The bases, which represent where the bases are located. Finally, influence tokens, which serve as the game's currency. You can hold a maximum of 12 tokens at a time. Note, some components may be different in the 2-player quick play kit, which is designed for 2 players, compared to the deluxe component kit. In the 2-player kit, you get 3 pieces representing the 2 players' villains and the roaming hero piece. You also get 6 red pieces and some stickers for the bases. In the deluxe component kit, this is meant to be more premium and suited for up to 4 players. The villain and roaming hero pieces are different and you have a personalised dice as well. You also get stickers for each of these pieces. The stickers can be added to the dice and the villain, the roaming hero and base pieces during setup. Let's talk about the movement map now. This is the board that pieces are placed upon and moved around during gameplay. Each square represents one movement. Again, you get slightly different versions depending on the kit you buy. Additionally, there are some optional add-ons which make gameplay easier. There is the play mat. These mats have designated spaces to organise the various cards. You can download a free printable playmat from the game page. Alternatively, you can purchase a premium version on the Game Crafter. The scorecard is a record to keep track of the villain and minion health, along with the hero and base health for all players. You can download a printable scorecard template from the game page, or simply just write it all out with a paper and pen. That covers the cards and components. In the next video, I'll go through setting up your game and how to actually play using these cards and components.